Hello and welcome to lab number 2, the dichotomous key. Here in this video, we're going to go through the instructions of the lab, what we want to get out of the lab, and how to have a successful lab write-up. So let's start off with what a dichotomous key is. You can see in this slide we have a dichotomous key, Guide to Florida Seagrasses. There's 3 major species of seagrass in Florida: turtle grass, manatee grass, and shoal grass. And you can see if you found seagrass, you would make observations and then use those observations to move through the dichotomous key and ID what type of seagrass you had. For instance, if you found a strand of seagrass that was round, that you could spin in your fingers like a piece of spaghetti, you can look right there and the first line, flat blades or round, you would choose round and you would get the ID right off the bat. The only round one is manatee grass. If they were flat, you would go to number 1 and look and see, are they paddle shape, whorled, or strap-like, not linear. Make your choice and move on. So each choice leads you to either the identification or another choice. For instance, turtle grass is our most common seagrass. It's pretty thick, maybe fettuccine. I liken it to fettuccine, maybe because I love Italian cooking, but I liken it to fettuccine. It's thick. It's not angel hair, which would be spinning in your fingers, or spaghetti spinning in your fingers. So it's not manatee grass, and it's not really thin. It's fairly thick, turtle grass. So turtle grass, the leaves are greater than 3 millimeters in width and usually about a whole centimeter wide. So when you got flat blades, you go to 1. Strap-like, go to 4. Greater than 3 millimeters in width, about a centimeter wide. There you have it. Now you can see that term rhizome. Rhizomes are the stems underground and it grows up. The leaves grow up. So rhizomes kind of reach out and grow in that way. So that's how that seagrass grows. So that's just what a dichotomous key is. Choices and your observations help you identify. The first activity you're going to do is called Fishing for a Name. You visit a website. The website is given in your activity, and you identify different fish using the dichotomous key. Your second activity is the shell. Okay, Phyla mollusca is one of the most common intertidal organisms. So, and they're shelled. So we find them all the time, identify them. We talked briefly on the classes of mollusks last lab. You see the most common bivalve, 2-part shell, gastropods, 1-shelled snails, and the cephalopods. I also mentioned there was smaller, the chitons and the tusk shells. But we're going to look at the bivalve shell and the univalve shell. In your lab, you have the anatomy of both, and you're to sketch that anatomy. You can use a unique shell or copy the ones given to you in lab and label the parts. The goal is to learn the different parts of the bivalve shell. So you're going to have to turn in sketches. Again, you can sketch them and take a picture. You can embed them. You can send me JPEGs. You can send them in a PowerPoint, but you need to sketch each shell and label the anatomy of it. Mollusk identification. There is PDF files. Those PDF files have the mollusk's dichotomous keys for both bivalves and univalves. And they work out in the field if you're trying to ID on a beach trip and you need organisms and you have to ID them. So these work great anywhere, but you can print them, they're yours. Same with that seagrass dichotomous key. But there's images in the PowerPoint of 5 bivalves, 5 univalves, with a brief size description. And you're to use the images in the description to work through the dichotomous keys and ID each. So there's identifications to do. So you write up, give me a cover. There's a table, reproduce the table and fill it in, fishing for a name. Hand draw the bivalve and univalve. There's ID tables for the mollusks, complete them, and then include your references as a wrap-up. So that's the lab write-up, that's a dichotomous key, and that's my expectations. Thank you so much.